Okay, everybody, here we go. It is me, Gregory Mannarino. Monday. Lovely. It's already starting. People just sit back and relax. March 27, 2023. So here's the story and how the market is reacting to it. The biggest thing right now is over the weekend, yesterday, it was announced that there's going to be a lot more emergency funds being made available to failing banks. On the back of that, stock futures higher across the board, pointing towards a higher open here. Oh, and it gets better than that. The Swiss National Bank has also opened up an emergency funding for Credit Suisse here, billions of dollars, just as the Fed continues to pump hundreds of billions of dollars into the system, and this is going to be epic. It's going to be in the trillions here. The entire system, as I covered yesterday, it's toxic, it's failing, and something else is developing here. So it looks like some of these failing banks so far, where their assets are coming up on the auction block. There's rumors that Silicon Valley Bank assets are being bought by several institutions right now. Imagine my shock. Imagine your shock. No, this is exactly what's going on. This emergency fund, this new emergency fund, which we just found out about again yesterday, it's a bridge to allow these institutions to stay propped up long enough for their assets to come up on the chopping block as well. And you know how this is going to work. We outlined this right at the beginning. Fire sales. Fire sales are going to go on here, and these institutions are going to be consolidated, period. Really, what happened? You know, it's no longer too big to fail. It's too small to fail as well. Look, in a normal business environment, generally you have, in a capitalistic society, people take risks, even banks. People start a new bank. Hey, let's start a bank. We're going to become amazingly wealthy. Okay. But these institutions are not allowed to fail anymore. Again, business cycles no longer exist anymore. It's just propping up. Business cycles are normal, okay, but not anymore. Now, especially when it comes to the banks, they all get propped up. U.S. small businesses, the mom and pop shops, they all get eliminated. Why? The corporate agenda. And here, clearly, this is a corporate agenda being fulfilled here. Major institutions are going to get bigger and more powerful. Hundreds of billions of dollars in deposits have been now pulled out of these smaller institutions and put into the larger banks, just like you and I predicted here. Oh, they're allowing us to know that it's over 100 billion. Look this up for yourself, but it's in the hundreds of billions here. And there's also talk of another rescue package, because the first rescue package for First Republic, well, that didn't work out too well. It was never a rescue. You know this. I sell things to people like this. Again, this is what the media was told to do. Sell some kind of a fairy tale of a rescue to First Republic, which was nothing but these 11 Wall Street banks who put up the $30 billion to just cover withdrawals as there was a run on the bank. It's incredible. It really is here. So that's the story this morning here. More emergency funds for failing banks here in the United States. Who knows what that's going to be? I mean, it's going to be hundreds of billions, maybe $1 trillion. I don't know. And then the Swiss National Bank bailout, because let's call these things what they are here, for Credit Suisse as well. Too small to fail, too big to fail. And why is it, in your opinion? And I want to hear from you. I really do. I promise I'll read the comments. Why is it that no one, except you and I, are talking about how pumping hundreds of billions or trillions of dollars into the system is not massively inflationary? Why is that not getting even the slightest bit of attention by the mainstream propaganda? Because you see, You can't know that. They think you're too dumb. They really, really do. All right. So on the back of this, like I said, emergency funds announcement for failing institutions, failing banks. That was enough to prop up stock futures. Trading didn't start for 39 minutes from the time I am doing this video blog. Lovely, lovely. That means at least at this point, stocks are going to jump higher at the open. What else would you expect when you have all this money being pumped into a dead system, into a zombie system? That's all this is. We're propping up a dead system. And who's going to pay for it? You are. You are. In the form of skyrocketing inflation. It's incredible. Crude oil back over $70 a barrel, going much higher eventually. You know this. Look, commodities are the place to be, in my view, moving forward, because this hyper debt bubble is, again, as we have been outlined right here, going to get much, much larger. I can't tell you how many people have written to me whenever I've said this, that the debt hyper bubble is going to balloon and balloon. People tell me how wrong I am. No, well, really, look at what's going on. You think maybe I got it right here? It's not done by a long shot. They're going to prop this up and prop it up at the cost of every other person on this planet. Really, this is a global inflationary event. It's a global systemic meltdown with free fall economies and a banking system that's failing by design here, so they can consolidate power for the new system rollout. It's pretty much in our face. Gold and silver right now under some pressure. Cryptocurrencies are holding their own. XRP is up by like 8%. Bitcoin around 28,000. This is where we stand here, people. MMRI did come up. Why? Well, because despite the fact that they're promising emergency funds, because the system is so stable. I mean, you can't make this stuff up here. All you're hearing from Janet Yellen and what's his name, Powell Fed chair, and is the system is stable. It's highly liquid. Then why is it? How is that even possible if they have to pump more cash into the system via this new emergency program? How can you have an emergency program being instituted when everything is just fine? So think of that. They're telling us the system is sound. The system is liquid. The system is perfect. But at the same time, they're allowing us to know that there's emergency funding for the problem. So why is it an emergency? Explain this to me, because you see, this is above my pay grade. I just don't know. People, look. You and I have been, again, light years ahead of the curve on this. We're betting against the debt, becoming our own central banks, holding hard assets, gaining exposure to commodities for the long run here. You want to be in this market, you want to trade this market, that's fine too. I've put out like no less than 2 completely free trading systems in my free newsletter. Link in the description of this video for everybody. I got your back. I got all of you covered, upside down, backwards, and freaking sideways. And there is no way that we're going to allow this twisted thing that's in our face to beat us. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen here. So anyway, with that said, I do want to hear from you. How do you feel that you're being told that the system is sound, the system is liquid, it's completely fine? Meanwhile, they're telling us there's an emergency funding program in place to provide liquidity to these failing institutions whose assets are coming up on the auction block. Oh, yes. It just sounds great to me. I don't know about you. It sounds absolutely perfect. And this new bailout here from the Swiss National Bank for Credit Suisse, who knows what's going on with Deutsche Bank? We're going to hear about that pretty soon. This isn't over. This is not over. Okay, they're trying to con everyone. It's a con job on an unprecedented scale, that everything is fine. But meanwhile, there's an emergency program to pump billions, hundreds of billions, and trillions of dollars into the system. They really believe that you and I are stupid. And we are clearly not stupid. All right, people, that's it this morning. Let's see where this whole thing goes. We will cover more of this later in my live stream, 1:05 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. People keep asking me. I say it every day, but people keep asking me, hey, Greg, when is it? 1:05 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Live. We'll cover this here. It's going to get even crazier even by the end of the freaking day. All right. Keep your eyes on the MMRI. As I said, it's coming up. Bonds are obviously selling off despite the fact that we have this promise of emergency funding for a failing system. Unbelievable. I'll see you later.